Hi, Danae here, and I'm doing my first Zoom interview meeting. It's been really fun for the last couple of weeks to interview people that I have at my disposal because I'm socially distancing with them. So I have been able to share a little bit about what's going on in high school ministry because my husband, Christian, is the high school programming director. I also brought you a little bit of 5-year-old wisdom from my sweet daughter, Reagan. But today I'm really excited because I'm going to be talking with Heidi Winter, who's our elementary director, and some really cool things are happening in elementary ministry here at Eastridge and kind of with some community, a larger community of elementary ministers around the world. And she's been able to stay connected with some of our kids and see them learn and grow throughout this distance. And so who better to share what's going on with those kids than Heidi? And I'm doing this via Zoom. I've never done this before, so this is going to be extremely interesting. And we're going to Zoom on. Man, I had come up with some really good Zoom word plays. It was okay. Here we are on our Zoom call. Heidi's joined us, and we're going to just talk a little bit about all of the very cool things that God is doing with your elementary kids at Eastridge, but also elementary. You're kind of in touch a little bit more with elementary kids all over the world. So
across the U.S. Yeah.
So do you want to explain a little bit about the preteen ministry right now and virtual midweek?
Sure. Yeah. So we are subscribers of a curriculum called Deeply Rooted, and the people that write the lessons, that publish the lessons, are in Sacramento, California, and they work closely with people in Houston. And so when this all happened, they looked at our lessons, and they have been training leaders on what they call on-conferences instead of conferences, because church budgets are not huge, and they can have leader conferences all over the world and just have everyone attend from their own home church. So that's how I've received training from them. And when this all happened, they said, hey, we should do church the same way that we do conferences for leaders. The Zoom call turns from a call from anywhere between, we've had as low as 55 and as high as 120. Again, they're in Houston, San Diego, North Carolina. They're all over the place. And so then, but during small group time, they come back to you, and my screen becomes, 5 to 7 of my kids. And we look at each other's faces and we share what God is speaking to us within those lessons. So it's an hour. We've gone over a few times because it's really fun, but it's typically an hour and a half. It's every Thursday evening. And it's a big Zoom call.
And preteen, just for people who don't know, preteen is 4th grade and 5th grade. So it's still elementary, but the last several years, people in kind of the church ministry world have realized that age group needs its own kind of programming. And it's a really nice gap between elementary and middle school. So in your small group time, what has the feedback been? What are the kids really loving about, what are they struggling with in this quarantine, and what are they loving about this virtual church experience that they wouldn't have had?
First, I have to say that it's amazing, and it's way different than when we're actually in the room together, because we haven't seen each other in a while, and now you are face to face, right? We've taught Zoom etiquette, so they're not messing around doing things in their home. We're looking at each other's faces, and the communication has changed. So, and the first few weeks, it was sort of like they were watching TV, and now they're moving closer to their screens. And in the small group, this is the part I really love. I was told in the very beginning that the worst thing you could ever do with 10 and 11-year-olds is open up the chat window and allow them to chat, aside of what we're talking about.
Right.
And one of the coolest things is, so they are struggling, and they're struggling with the same things, but of course some of them have different things. And so the first week we met was the day that we found out school wasn't going back, right? And so there were some tears, and one of our students really had a hard time because a friend of his is for lots of reasons he's not really able to get together outside of school. And so this preteen just realized that I'm probably not going to see my friend for the rest of the school year. And as he was talking about that, then someone else came in, and that preteen had someone that was really close to her that she just found out that she was diagnosed with cancer.
Mm.
And so those conversations were happening, and we were looking at each other and we were talking. And then I look at the chat window and I realize that they're commenting to each other. And so, what you need to do with 10 and 11-year-olds sometimes, well, actually, in a big Zoom call, you mute everyone except the person talking.
Right.
Right. And then I unmute them one at a time and we're able to talk. Well, as I looked over to the chat window, I'm realizing, that they're supporting each other. And I see oof, that's rough.
Mm.
Sorry, buddy, I'll pray. And I go, oh my goodness, that's the community that we have. And so one of the huge gifts of this is they're looking each other in the eye. They can't wait in small group. They're, just, oh, what does she have to say? What does he have to say? What's this? And they follow up with questions. And if someone forgets to follow up on a prayer request, they'll chat it in the window. Hey, have you heard from so-and-so? And again, I'm not giving any specifics, but isn't that amazing?
It's almost as if, the Lord uses all things to work for the good of those who love them. And for this age, and I've even seen it a little bit in middle school and high school, the distance is rough, but it takes away some of that social anxiety that kids can have.
It's so weird, but it's not like we put church on pause and then we moved into this online stuff just until that comes back. Right? That's not what's happening. We are continuing on, and we're deepening in ways that we may not have when we were together.
You sent me a couple videos, some really fun stuff. If you've got 4th and 5th graders that go to Eastridge, or even that don't go to Eastridge, but you're happening upon this video, we'll link to Heidi's email address so you can figure out how you can get your kid involved in that. Now, elementary, you've been sending packets home or mailing packets, sending Minnow Church at Home, which my kids have been doing too. They really, really like Minnow Church at Home. And anything fun going on with the elementary? I know you were also doing the Bob challenge that's still going on.
Oh yeah, the Books of the Bible challenge. So kids are memorizing books of the Bible. And in fact, I was just texting this morning, we have 2 more. So kids can recite one testament of the Bible, either one, whichever one they want to first, and they receive a prize, a really cool little scroll pin that all the books of the Bible come out of. It's very cool. And a tablet and, some candy. And then the second testament, when they've done the second one, they have recited the whole Bible. And so they get to choose different designs of t-shirts. And we actually design a custom t-shirt for them. Aww. They get to pick the colors and the designs and everything. And I cut them out with my silhouette machine. And so we've had six kids since we've been home. Or away from the building that have earned them. So I have dropped some t-shirts off on porches, and we had 2 kids just order their t-shirts this morning. In June, we were scheduled to finish our 2-year journey through the Bible. So we just mailed out the 5 weeks, and it'll be on Paul and the epistles. Some amazing scripture, especially at this time. Could there really be a better time for us to be looking at what Paul was telling the churches to do? So that's really exciting to me. Another one of those things that I think he had laid out beforehand, right? It just happened to be the perfect thing for it.
So kind of closing thought, like if people are here and they're thinking about our kids and they're wanting to pray for them, how would you tell people to pray for the kids of Eastridge, this age group of kids? What does God put on your heart for that?
I've been praying every day for them that they would see the blessings that they're surrounded by. So I feel like none of this has stopped and put life on hold, right? It is almost like he is offering us these new blessings, maybe the same blessings in a new way. And so what we've talked about in our small groups, and actually I have a video going out this week to them, that I really just want them to stop and look around. And if at any point things seem frustrating, things seem stale, they could even seem scary, just not moving forward, I would hope that they could look out and see what God is doing, look for the good that they're surrounded by, and just start listing those good things off. List the blessings that you're surrounded by and ask Him to give you eyes to see those things. Because I think once they see those and they're inspired, they're ready to move forward, right? We've also been talking about encouraging somebody else. So if there will be days that maybe we aren't seeing those blessings surrounded by us, think of somebody else. What do you want someone else to see? And reach out to them and share that with them. The minute you put your mind and your heart on the good of someone else, that
For sure.
that's what He asks us to do, and that's where He meets us. So that would be my prayer, that they would see themselves surrounded by blessings, and they would be blessings to other people, encouragement.
That's lovely. Yes. Okay. Well, we can be praying for that. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thanks for making
Yes, thank you.
and thanks for all the work that you're doing with these kids. The Lord is doing the work. We get to partner with them, and it's been a bit of an art form to figure out exactly how to do that. But
Yes.
it's really cool for me to see how that's kind of come to fruition in elementary. And it's a real blessing.
Yeah, it's an honor for me. It is such a blessing, and I look back to when we just started this, right? When we found out we were doing church online, and me not being a techie, how panicked I was, but amazing when we release things to Him. Yeah, it's always better than what we think it will be.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you, Danae. All right, see you later.